Well, welcome back to Weather Nation. This would affect your morning commute. Smithers in West Virginia, road closures because of all of the heavy rainfall and flooding out there. Really substantial looking damage that was done from the floodwaters.
And meanwhile, in northeastern Nebraska, around the Crofton area, we had really heavy rainfall. Of course, we do need the rain in parts of Nebraska. Unfortunately, it seems like the places where we need it, we're not getting it.
I feel like it always happens that way. Is it Murphy's Law? Is that safe to say?
Yeah, Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong will.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like sometimes with the rainfall in the forecast.
Yeah, and so we fortunately will see a little bit of rain in some of the drought-stricken areas across the north central region.
Yep.
Southwest Nebraska specifically going to stay dry,
Yep.
but other places in Iowa, Minnesota might see some rain in the days to come.
And the good news is that could cool down those temperatures a little bit too.
That's
so
right, yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Another place where we need the rain is into Texas, where we've got rain on the way right now. Let's take you out to Vipir radar, where we've got in some flash flooding and a tornado warning. We've had a couple of these over the last few hours here. We're taking a look on the wide picture. Notice a complex of heavy rain there moving into parts of Iowa, some scattered showers across the east, and then down into South Texas. I'll zoom right on down here around the San Antonio to Corpus Christi, Laredo area, outside of the Acuna area. We've got heavy rain to moderate rain across a wide area. We do need the rain here in South Texas. We've been very dry, very hot through the summer so far, and we haven't had any tropical systems to really come through and bring us the much needed rainfall or really cool us down for that matter. But this week, Gulf flow of some sort. It wasn't ever really an organized tropical system, but it did actually bring heavy rainfall and even a few tornado warnings over the last couple of hours here. Let's take a look at this one right now. We'll look from the local Corpus Christi radar site at the tornado warning in effect right now. Very few people live in this area, but we've seen some spots of rotation. Earlier this morning, we had some reports of a funnel cloud as well. And you can see a very good tight couplet here for several scans. Whenever we say couplet, we're talking about the individual pixels where we see a very fast inbound and a very fast outbound return right next to one another. That usually indicates pretty strong rotation. So let's take a look at some of these pixels here. We've got 30 mile per hour outbound and 18 mile per hour inbound winds. So about 48 miles per hour of rotation at about, let's see here, that's about 4,000 feet above the ground. So that's decent rotation. And whenever we have tropical systems or tropical-like systems like this, there's already so much rotation in the greater scale of the atmosphere that sometimes these thunderstorms can sort of consolidate that down. Imagine a figure skater with their arms out and then bringing them in. That angular momentum gets conserved and you get some fast little spin ups there. So current view on the radar, we see just very broad scale rotation, very weak rotation. So it's good news that that is beginning to wind down. But that's still in effect until 2:15 this afternoon into McMullen County, Texas. The greater area here though, around the I-35 corridor down into parts of Duval County, we've got some flash flood warnings in effect right now. So let's take a look at some of the radar estimated rainfall we've seen just in the last, let's even go back 24 hours, because this has been a system we've seen over the last couple of days here, bringing some very heavy rainfall. Let's get some estimates here. 13.6 inches. Of course, sometimes that can be a bit overestimated, a little far out from the radar site, but still definitely over 10 inches in some of these spots and some over 6 inches even there outside of Corpus Christi, Rockport area. 3 to 5 inches of rainfall in some isolated spots. So very heavy rain can lead to flash flooding as well. We'll take you back out to the national picture. I want to zoom into the East Coast where we've got the chance for some thunderstorms to develop later on today around the Carolinas and Virginia right now, and even down into parts of the Southeast into the Deep South. Let's take you out to Raleigh, North Carolina, where we've got some of that chance for even some tornadoes later today. Well, Denver, Colorado earlier, we're looking at a little time lapse. You see some of those trees dancing around, a light breeze rolling through. No thunderstorms just yet. Are knocking on the doorstep of the metro just outside of the 470 loop out and around parts of Douglas County. We've got some thunderstorms really rocking and rolling right now with a lot of lightning. ongoing as well. We're taking a look at Vipir radar right now, just south of the Denver metro. And you see a pretty complex of thunderstorms around the Castle Rock area, just off the Front Range, moving towards the highway or Interstate 25 corridor outside of Highlands Ranch and Littleton right there. So like I said, into Douglas County right now, a lot of lightning. Let's just get a count over the last 10 minutes of what we've seen, about 125 strikes or so. Like I said, just in the last 10 minutes alone, and we're starting to see some of those thunderstorms crossing around the Centennial area, around Englewood, Columbine Valley area, up towards Littleton as well. Highlands Ranch, very heavy thunderstorms rolling through right now. Non-severe at the moment, but we could still see the chance for some small hail in some of these spots. Notice that we've got some of these darker pink to almost gray colors embedded in some of these thunderstorms. That can be just heavy rain. Sometimes it's hail within the thunderstorm as well. Now, it might be small hail, so that might be why we don't see any warnings at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on that area. The broader view here around the Denver metro, though, is where we see some heavy rainfall across some of the northern Rockies here around Estes Park area up until Larimer County, Colorado. We've got a couple of flash flood warnings there. Of course, you want to be mindful of heavy rain leading to some potential flash flooding out there. Taking a look on the national picture, though, that's not the only spot where we've got active thunderstorms. Across the southwest into parts of Nevada and into southern Arizona. We've got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings into parts of Nye County there in southern Nevada and into even parts of southern Arizona here. We'll get a pause on the radar loop right now. Into Santa Cruz County, a severe thunderstorm warning for there, as well as a few flash flood warnings, even here into New Mexico, around the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon burn scar there in Mora County. Let's take a look across the east coast here, where we've got some thunderstorms ongoing into northern Alabama, also into North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina around here as well. So we'll take a look here into the foothills initially, into parts of Rutherford County, Gaston County, Lincoln, and Cleveland counties right now. A couple of severe thunderstorm warnings where we could see some pretty strong winds with these thunderstorms. This is moving into an area of better conditions for storms to be forming. We've got a severe thunderstorm watch out here as well. Looking out from the Raleigh radar site, we see around the Southern Pines to Spring Lake, into parts of Harnett County and Hope County, and a few other counties around the Cumberland area as well under severe thunderstorm warning, and into parts of South Carolina around Marlborough County, into Robeson County there as well. Into parts of western Virginia, not quite West Virginia, but western Virginia here, we see into Wythe County and Pulaski County, another severe thunderstorm warning. Of course, we can't get to every warning, so do check the WeatherNation app. You can find more information in that on your local area, what the warnings are currently ongoing. But I also want to stop here one last time into parts of Iowa, where we've got some heavy rain moving into the Siouxland area off towards western Iowa there, north of the I-80 corridor, but it's making a beeline towards the Des Moines metro. You're likely going to be seeing that heavy rain here in the next hour or so. So right there at rush hour across Des Moines, you're going to see heavy rain moving in. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Well, we're back now on WeatherNation, taking a look in Centennial, Colorado, right here from the WeatherNation studios. We've got thunderstorms that are rolling in at a very impressive shelf cloud as well. Admittedly, many of us were gawking at this thunderstorm as it was rolling in. I want to take you out to Vipir radars. Here across the South Denver metro, we've got a ton of lightning, so you do want to be mindful of all this lightning out there. And of course, when thunder roars, go indoors. Now, with these thunderstorms, we've also got a flash flood warning here into Douglas County, just south of the metro. Not quite into Castle Rock, but along the I-25 corridor. So if you are planning on heading out anytime soon, I-25 is going to be slammed with heavy, heavy rainfall, possibly some small hail, even along the southern extent of Highway 470 there. Could see some very heavy rain and potentially some small hail in there, of course, as well. Looking on a broader view, though, we do have other areas with some thunderstorms up around the Greeley area, Fort Collins with some light rainfall. But look here in some of these valleys, these canyons here, Larimer County with some flash flood warnings as well. So heavy rainfall into the high terrain can quickly wash down into the streams and cause them to be very swollen very quickly as well. and could see some flash flooding in those areas. And as we take a look across parts of Nebraska, things are fairly quiet so far, but we're starting to see a couple of lines of some storms across the Sand Hills into the southern regions of the Black Hills as well, and then more moderate to heavy rainfall across parts of Iowa into northern Missouri as well. So a couple of spots there. We'll get back to that in just a moment. I want to take you out towards North Carolina, where we've got a few severe thunderstorm warnings, and into South Carolina and Virginia, just outside of the Charlotte area into Mecklenburg County, the north and west part of the county there under a severe thunderstorm warning. We could see some very strong winds here, up to 60 miles per hour, possibly a tornado possible is on the tag of that severe thunderstorm warning. So I want to take you out towards the velocity right now. So we see some areas around Stanley, between Stanley and Mount Holly, near the northeast corner of Gaston County there. We've got a little bit of rotation there, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Of course, this is just radar indicator rotation. We don't have any confirmation of this being on the ground at this point, so still just a severe thunderstorm warning. But also around the Rutherford County area, another severe thunderstorm warning rolling off of the foothills of North Carolina. But we've got some severe thunderstorms out around the Denver metro, even right here at the WeatherNation studios in Centennial, Colorado. And look at these storms here into the Aurora area. So heavy rain coming down. That's likely going to cause backups on I-25, as there's almost always backups on I-25, but we're going to see the chance for some pretty strong winds with this thunderstorm, also possibly some hail up to 1 inch in diameter as well. So a couple of threats with that severe thunderstorm warning into parts of Arapahoe County, Douglas County, and out into Elbert County, just out there on the very corner. Elizabeth not quite within that warning, but still some pretty strong thunderstorms just outside of there and into the Kiowa area as well. So with this thunderstorm, it's moving towards the northeast, and it's moving towards the Denver International Airport, and just due to these storms, they are on a ground stop at the moment. So likely going to see some delays as this thunderstorm is rolling in. Notice over the last hour, it's really turned into quite a large complex of thunderstorms with tons of lightning. Let's just put on the lightning counter. We've seen it growing upwards of 250 strikes within a 10-minute time frame. It's gone down just a little bit, which is some good news, but it is making its way to the Denver airport, which is right around in this area here. So that's where we're looking at the chance for some pretty strong thunderstorms to roll through very shortly. On a more broad view here across the state of Colorado, we've got a couple of other thunderstorms into the Greeley area here. Not warned at the moment. We'll have to keep in mind that storms could still strengthen even if we are not looking at them on Vipir radar. Looking a little bit more on a wide view here across the northern plains, we see some heavy rainfall moving into parts of western Iowa as well. That'll be making its way towards the Des Moines metro and at least south of that over the next couple of hours. So we're getting into the rush hour time frame, likely going to see some delays on I-35 and I-80. As we look a little bit more towards the southeast coast, we see here across North Carolina several areas of some thunderstorms getting started, some severe thunderstorms in effect as well. As we take a look at some of the other alerts, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch out here, basically from the Huntersville area out to Sanford and down towards Lumberton, Florence, South Carolina, just outside of that warning, but also up towards the Lancaster area as well. We're looking until 10 o'clock this evening, thunderstorms still likely to be strong enough to hit that severe threshold. So we'll have to keep that in mind here across the Carolinas. As we follow the cold front down into North Alabama, we also have a severe thunderstorm warning here into parts of Winston and Walker County there in Alabama, just up the Interstate 20 corridor as well. So a couple of things to keep in mind all across the country, and even into the deep south, South Texas area. We've got numerous flash flood warnings from extremely heavy rainfall that we've seen over the last several hours today. As we take a look on the loop, we did have a couple of tornado warnings in this area as well. So with this low pressure system, we've got just that natural spin, a little bit of that friction as well, helping to produce some potential tornadoes here as well. Anytime we have tropical systems making landfall, they tend to put down a lot of tornado activity as well. So that's what we're seeing there. And then also our final stop here into the southeastern parts of Arizona and to Cochise County there, a severe thunderstorm warning for you as well.